Alright, good evening everybody, and welcome to my first video of the new year. That's right, first video of 2023. It's going to start it out with a DVD update. I've got 4 DVDs to show. 3 of these I ordered from Amazon, and 1 I bought at Goodwill in Salem, New Hampshire. So let's get started. First up, we have the complete 6th season of New Girl. Now, this was the season that also had one of the longest in-season hiatuses because of both the Chicago Cubs World Series run at that time, as well as the 2016 presidential election, which is why it was off the air for a month. The show was off the air for a month. But anyways, this was the last season to have a full 20 episodes. Anyways, here's the spine and the back. All the episodes that appear. This is also the last season to contain multiple discs in this set. Here's disc 1, disc 2, and disc 3. And it has many great episodes. So that's basically that. And it was around that time Megan Fox appeared regularly as Reagan, and Nasim Pedrad basically became a regular cast member on the show at this point, playing Winston's girlfriend. And it was also that time when Schmidt and Cece started to live in their own house, so away from the loft. So that's the 6th season of the show. And next up is the 7th season, the final season. Since this one premiered mid-season and only had 7 episodes, it's a good way to end the series after a 7-year run. Here's the spine and the back. And it ultimately ends in the end. It had a 2-episode series finale, which pretty much ultimately ended with Jess and Nick getting married. Quite a big thing for Zooey Deschanel and Jake Johnson to get into. But fortunately, after this series ended, Max Greenfield was still able to continue on in television because he currently is on the CBS comedy show The Neighborhood, of his role there. I don't know what Hannah Simone, Jake Johnson, and Lamorne Morris are doing now these days. And Zoe still is active in the entertainment industry since she did host a one-and-done season of the Celebrity Dating Game, which aired on ABC just a couple years ago. Anyway, here's the disc. So, overall, New Girl was one of Fox's great television comedies. 7 years it ran. And so, who could ever forget that? And this next one is a cartoon, and this was one of my favorite 80s cartoons I watched in terms of reruns when Cartoon Network showed it in the 90s. And you ever heard of this? This is the Centurions. This is the original miniseries, which were the first 5 episodes of the show. There were 65 episodes of this series overall. This series is from 1986. It also has and the cover art has the Centurions, Ace McCloud, Jake Rockwell, and Max Ray, and wearing their exoframes and their assault weapon systems. You see Ace with Sky Knight, Jake with Fire Force, and Max with Cruiser. Of course, there were so many other great weapon systems on the show. The Centurions used. Max also had Tidal Blast, Depth Charger, and Seabat. Jake had Wild Weasel, Detonator, and Hornet, and Ace had Skybolt and Orbital Interceptor. This features the voice talents of Neil Ross as Ace, the late Vince Edwards as Jake, and Patrick Frawley as Max, along with Diane Pershing as the voice of Crystal Kane. She was the woman that operated Skybolt's computer. Hooter on the Skyvault was a space station the space station where the exoframes and assault weapon systems were stored. Also has the voice talents of the late Ed Gilbert as Hacker, one of the two antagonists, and Ron Feinberg as the Centurions' arch nemesis, Doc Terror. Hacker was Doc Terror's number two man. Later episodes in the run also featured, I can't remember who, I'll have to re-look up to find out who voiced Centurion Rex Charger, and it was Michael Bell, I think. That voiced the Native American Centurion John Thunder. We know Michael would later go on to voice Drew Pickles in Rugrats. But it's still a great classic cartoon. These are the and this is, you see the back, and there's the Centurions without the weapon systems on. Episodes are The Sky is on Fire, Battle Beneath the Sea, An Alien Affair, Found One Lost World, and Sand Doom. And there's the disc with the Centurions in their when they go into the formation, when they do go into that pose, it's the pose of a letter X, and when they go into that's when they call for their weapon systems by saying their signature line, Power Extreme! And once they said the line, the weapon systems would get attached to the exoframes. And in a lot of episodes, some of it, when they had it, would sometimes go into footage of parts of the weapon, each part of the weapon system being attached one at a time. For most, this was not so with Max's Seabat, but for the others there were. Centurions is a great cartoon. Cartoon Network first began showing this first on Saturday afternoons at 2:30 p.m. and then later when they did the weekday afternoon Power Zone block, it aired weekdays at 4 p.m. And for a few years before Power Zone was replaced by Toonami. But so that's Centurions for you. And the last thing I got hot for all you Disney fans. Next, this is Muppets Wizard of Oz. This is the extended film version and features the talents of Ashanti playing Dorothy, along with the Muppets playing Kermit as the Scarecrow, Fozzie as the Lion, Gonzo as the Tin Man, Pepe playing Toto, that's when she gets to Oz, because Toto's not a dog in this one. Quentin Tarantino is credited for his cameo. Also appearing in there includes Queen Latifah as Auntie M, David Alan Grier as Uncle Henry, and Jeffrey Tambor as the Wizard. Ashanti even does sing a few songs too, being the pop singer she was back then in the 2000s with hits like Foolish and Happy, and even a couple duets including What's Love with Fat Joe and Always on Time with Ja Rule. And so on. Here's the spine and the back, and it says, Kermit and the gang are as adorable as ever, as stated by the New York Times. Himes also has a couple other features, including a blooper reel, Pepe's exclusive making of, and an extended interview with Quentin Tarantino. And here's the guide and the disc. Disc featuring the art. Miss Piggy also has quite a big one, playing 4 roles, not just playing just the good witches, but also the Wicked Witch of the West too. But at least, sadly, Piggy does not say, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too. That's cool. But it's still, that quote's iconic. But anyway, Muppets Wizard of Oz originally aired on ABC, but I think it was back in May of 2005. My mother taped it that night. I had to wait to see it because that aired the same night that I began my ordeal weekend with in scouting at that time. But That's another story. Well, so if you like the Wizard of Oz story done in the Muppet style, I recommend you do buy this. It's good. This I got at Goodwill in Salem. And there you go. That's going to wrap it up for this DVD update, but do stay tuned. I also have a Wii game update for you coming up next, so stick around for that.